a very brief but amazing and hilarious Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. So last week we talked about how Marie Shadows was juking it out with Dave Meltzer, over emails and all of that. So this is one that I don't think we read on the air, but or maybe we did, but she basically gave a rundown like, you must think I'm special since you're asking for an apology when you don't ask anyone else. The bickering looks bad on both of us because you're not willing to prove anything. There's no confirmation from New Japan or Chris. Yeah, we did cover this. So shout out Marie, I guess, for just beefing out Dave. You know what I mean? So here's old school KM. That's saying AEW is considered live sports, isn't it, Dave Meltzer? And then Meltzer goes, it hasn't been considered that in a few years. So this whole time, Meltzer's been like, Tony Khan. It's considered among the top live sports. So, NFL does 30. So if they do 30%, Tony Khan. Now he's just flat out saying, well, they haven't even been considered that in years.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
It must be hard, like, to keep up with all those lies constantly, bro. Like, it must be hard for that dude, man. Really. I don't know how he does it, how he just straight face, like, says like this and then just, blatantly changes his tune the next second. But for Dave, he's just owning himself because this is the metric. Like, it being a live sport is the metric he's choosing to use to argue it on AEW's behalf when no one told him to do that. And then he's just going to come out and be like, well, it hasn't been considered that in a few years. That could always change. That's why it and WWE are in the entertainment standings, comparing it to WWE as well. So I quote tweeted this and said, Dave either is incompetent or a liar. He was comparing them to sports and saying they're one of the top sports on Max. Now it's this. So all these hive mind idiots who regurgitate his 30% NFL numbers look stupid as hell too. This is embarrassing to no end. And exactly, he's just making other people look dumb too. That are like, well, I gave him my $14.99. What the dude? I thought we were cool, So let's do some non-CTE Meltzer math here from Meltzer Said What, right? So February 8th. 2023 did a 0.3 for 391 in the key demo. 10% is 39,100 viewers in 2023. Now in 2025, with declining viewership in the demo, 0.30 versus 0.17. CTE Meltzer says that common sense would tell you that they're blowing 2023 out of the water. And this is what I mean. Thank God for Meltzer Said What. He is one of the GOATs. But exactly, man. Meltzer's trying to have everyone believe that, like, with half of the key demo that they were doing before, it's, let's just read some of this. Like Meltzer saying, he goes, actually, Wednesday's AEW Dynamite drew 563,000 viewers on TBS from last week's 579K viewers, Bryan. It drew a 0.17 rating, in the 18 to 49 key demographic, up from last week's 0.16. The streaming viewership numbers for their simulcast on Max is currently not known. This time last year on February 21, Dynamite drew 828, 2.9. The February 23 episode drew 1,000,000.35. And Dave's trying to have us believe that somehow they're getting more viewers than in 2023. All you need is 30,000 viewers between 18 to 49 for Max, and you're up from December. I don't know the numbers, but common sense would tell you it's a lot more than 30,000. Tony God. I don't know, man. The math ain't mathin', and Dave's always just completely talking out of his ass. Let's see here. The numbers are in for the 8. Yeah, this is a slight decrease in the demo, then whatever. It's just more evidence to back up what Meltzer Said What is saying. Guys, check out Marie Shadows, where she stooges the emails, and not stooges, but she exposes the emails, and Dave needs to do better. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Jason G from the SAT says, nah, blood, keep the same energy. So Meltzer going, NXT was up to 799K, 0.19 last night. That's all he can say. The next day for AEW. AEW did 598K, 0.18. That's with West Coast at 5 p.m., obviously not including Max. Beat everything on cable, but NBA and Fox News. Dave, that's the only thing relevant on cable is NBA and Fox News, and obviously it's not going to beat NBA, and it's not just Fox News. It's like 4 shows on Fox, like 4 others beat them, bro. It's not just Fox News. He's just such a a goober. 2 sentences to explain why this was still very good. NXT just disappointed. NXT was up. It'll be great. But yeah, man, can't keep the same energy ever for the ratings. Clown Meltzer. Ref MJ from NJ says, isn't it cute how a day ago Dave was pitching his math as logic and now it's conjecture? And the idea Collision is actually up when not against WWE if you exclude the CFP lead-in and the Grand Scam lead-in. Collision just did the best rating since whatever. So Meltzer's response to Steve Arch, who says the audience was there before AEW, correct? There's nothing that shows a spike in audience since AEW joined Max, is there? It is a leap to say Max users in big numbers began to watch AEW. It is a giant leap. Dave goes, actually, except for if, Batman. He's like, I think TV being the same, Collision actually being up when not against WWE, while streaming is added, would seem to indicate a spike upward. A spike up? How? Whether it's 10%, usual sports figure. Well, it's not a usual sport, so now here he's referring to it as a sport, caught red-handed again, but skewing much younger. Or more, WWE claimed 40 to 50% for SNME is pure conjecture. Ugh. So again, I talked to business analysts and experts, but everything I'm saying is conjecture, really. It's basically what he just said there. Again, I covered this. So Meltzer stooges that Josh Alexander, he says Josh Alexander has not been announced, but multiple sources, Tony Khan, list him as coming. And it was confirmed to us that he had made his decision as which side he was going to based on what he perceived was the right thing for his family, i.e. the best offer. So Tony told him this, and Dave's taking like a
the best guy's Tony Khan.
And the problem is that he's stooging it for AEW. And I quote to this, I'm like, Dave's such a doofus. He'd rather stooge this just to try and make some point about AEW offers better deals instead of letting the fans enjoy this and actually help AEW do something cool. He's always mouthing off when he shouldn't be and staying quiet about what matters. And that's just facts, man. He's such an idiot. Like, don't stooge that for them. Jesus Christ. But he just wants to be like, oh, it was a better offer. WWE doesn't make no offers. So Meltzer said what? Says Meltzer went to Collision. Oh, yeah. So this is facts, too. I wanted to put this in the title, but Dave Meltzer legit went to Collision instead of watching Chamber. And that's his prerogative. Okay. But the problem is that he goes there to kiss Tony Khan's balls. It's the road to WrestleMania. Before any of this, Rock, Cena, Punk, all of these people, Trish Stratus, all of these people are marketed for the show. And just to anyone in the world, you have to be watching that show. If The Rock and Cena and it's Cena's last dates, you as a wrestling observer, wrestling journalist are gonna miss out on all of Cena's last dates to go to Collision to tongue Tony Khan's cheeks. And then what happens is him and Bryan come online, and Bryan starts complaining that he chose to go to Collision. And then he's like, it's so stupid that WWE wants us to watch this press conference instead of watch the replay. So he's complaining that the PLE is not on replay automatically when he's in the midst of, he chose to go to Collision just to kiss ass. And then he's going to talk. It's so funny. It's so cringe. Okay. My God, they actually did it, responding to the Cena heel turn. Meltzer said, what gets a DM? And it says, Meltzer's at Collision as Cena finally turned heel. LOL. Like being at a minor league soccer game and missing the Super Bowl as an NFL reporter. Patrick Mahomes. Oh my God, dude. What a doofus. What a doofus. And then here's Bryan melting down, and Bryan. So Bryan's like, the fact that the WWE PLE replays are unavailable until after the press conference ends is ridiculous. And then this Logan guy is like, is this because Dave went to Collision instead of watching Elimination Chamber and missed one of the most significant moments in modern wrestling history? And then Alvarez is like, it has nothing to do with Dave. The show has a tremendous amount of buzz. However, anyone who heard about it and missed it and decided they want to watch it as of 12:04 a.m. Eastern, they still can't. It's like, well, what the f- were you doing? Aren't you guys the wrestling observers? Like, didn't you jump on to do a big stream after to let's review it the next day? Like, you guys didn't watch it live. You knew that Cody Rhodes and The Rock and Cena and Logan Paul and Punk and Trish and everybody was scheduled for this thing. What were you doing to where you missed it? To where we're supposed to believe you guys are the observers, the litigators of what's good wrestling. And then this asshole Bryan, as he's watching it, he's tweeting out, because everyone's dying down from the buzz. Everybody's on Twitter scrolling, seeing everybody's thoughts. And then Bryan's on there like, oh, the ladies' chamber match was great. Oh, Cena, an amazing heel turn. Like, just giving these vanilla white bread toast ass answers, unsalted butter ass answers, about like, or not answers, sorry, critiques or takes rather, about like these matches as he's watching it 4 hours after everyone. And it's just like, man, you guys, I don't know. It's not a good look, Bryan. And this is why people don't take you guys seriously, man. You just look ridiculous all the time. And then try to act like, oh, we know better, and all you goofs, you guys are geeks, and you're geeks, and geeks. And it's like, no, that's you. Dave Meltzer actually praises Liv Morgan in her Elimination Chamber performance. And again, I mean, a blind guy could have seen that. But he said, I thought Liv Morgan was great. Liv Morgan really stood out to me. She's just got so much poison there. She knows what she's doing. Her stuff looks good. She's tremendous. I mean, yeah, we all know that. A blind guy could tell you that. And so Meltzer said, or Bryan Alvarez says this after it's all done, because they're just, again, missing threes. The dirt sheets are in the mud. They're cooked. And Bryan Alvarez goes, when the chamber show was over, there were a bunch of matches that seemed like, okay, now we know what we have for Mania. We've got this match, this match, this match. I don't think a bunch. I don't think it was a bunch. It was like one or two. And I was told that there are more twists and turns coming. Now you're told that? Oh, yeah, I bet you were told that. When? Who? By Tony Khan when you were at Collision? Or when did Dave phone you on a corded phone? And you, like, come on, man, shut up. You weren't told. So if you think that you know the Mania card based on what happened, you just said that you thought you knew it based on what happened. And then you go, so if you thought you knew it, you don't know. But I just thought, oh, look at all these matches. We know this match, but I was told there's more swerves. So if we tell you that there's this match, and it's not this match and this match, it's not because we're wrong, right? Right, Uncle Dave? That's why Bryan doesn't get a pass with me, man. It's just this slimy she does. If you think you know the Mania card based on what happened at Chamber, there are going to be some changes. No, that's just what you're saying to cover your dumb ass because you know that you don't know, okay? To end this Dave Meltzer moment of the week, we went a little long, but this video's not long. We're going to EFAP a video together, okay, which I love to do. It's not long. It's like 4 minutes long here to end this Meltzer moment of the week. And here is John Cena's heel turn. Here's Dave and Bryan's reaction to it. Nope, we ain't paying for yours, buddy.
News coming out of Chamber is that The Rock has a corporate champion, and it is John Cena, who after all these years has turned heel here in his final run. And Dave, what'd you think of this angle in the show?
I mean, it was certainly well done.
I mean, it was certainly well done. And then he's gonna be what? Not overly excited for it and shit. And look how he's waddling, dingling this mic around in his face.
This angle in the show.
I mean, it was certainly well done. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was like an all-time classic angle. I'm surprised in the sense
I can't take this asshole serious.
Of it being in his farewell.
I'm surprised in the sense of I'm surprised now he's going to critique it. Oh, I mean, it was decent. I mean, one of the greatest things ever. But I mean, for all that, I'm surprised.
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was like an all-time classic angle. I'm surprised in the sense of it being in his farewell run. And some people will note that as soon as he did it, everybody cheered, which I think everyone knew that would happen because people.
Dave, they all booed him out of. He's lying now.
Liar! Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
Liar! Dave, they were shocked and they all screamed like, oh, the fuck? And then they started booing and yelling the same way when Hogan dropped the leg. You're not about to lie right now, Dave. Jesus Christ. You're not about to do that.
Saw it as like a happening. They didn't boo Cena at all.
They didn't boo Cena at all. Oh my God. You guys. Oh my God, guys. Chat. What do we do about this? Oh my God. He said they didn't boo him at all.
Emotional damage.
Oh my God, what a liar. Look at his shark eyes. Dead behind the soul. Dead behind the eyes, I mean, dead in the soul. Cold-hearted, fish-brained. Look at this. Just blatantly, I mean, they didn't boo him at all. Am I crazy? They booed the out of him, man. People were crying, Dave. Oh my God. I didn't listen to this first, chat. I can't believe that's what he's trying to lie and say.
You know, how that will go in. I mean, we got a babyface heel thing going into the thing. I think that's
We got a babyface heel thing going into the thing.
probably a better dynamic. It's a different time. I mean, like there was a period when everyone wanted Cena to turn, and it would have been the wrong thing for business because he was selling so much merchandise that would not have sold.
He's still selling so much merchandise. It's just that Vince is gone, and they're willing to do this. They're willing to flip WWE on its ear on a whim. Not even on a whim. This is all planned out, but they're willing to make it seem like it's on a whim, and they're willing to just shift it right before Mania every year. Just to fuck around and give people something that they, because even last year with the magic they created and the buzz, let's say that was a shoot. Okay, now they're like, how do we replicate that next year? Cena heel turn, you know?
Old had he turned and he was doing the Make-A-Wish. It just wasn't the right thing, even though people were booing him all the time. I mean, now everyone's cheering him since he came back. I mean, nobody booed him at all. And but it's
Dave is sitting here saying nobody booed him at all. I would play the thing if we wouldn't get pulled down. I just can't believe this is what he's trying to lie. We just played a video earlier, fan footage of The Rock, and when Travis Scott, The Rock, and Cena were going back up the ramp, they're booing them and talking so much, and The Rock's threatening to beat up a guy in the crowd. What do you mean? Those boos weren't for Cena? Oh, well, those ones were just for that Cuervo guy and The Rock. They all the cheers were for Cena. I know because I invented a device. Actually, the way when I hold this microphone like this and put my headset on like this and take my cordless phone, my cordless house phone, and I use them all together, I can actually separate. It's like Professor Xavier's Cerebro. And I can separate the cheers from the boos and who was intended for who, Batman. Didn't I tell you I'm a secret spy? I study Batman, Bryan. Like, man, what is this idiot talking about? We can't even get through a minute of this video.
It's not his crowd now. This is the Cody Rhodes crowd. It's a different era. And he's not the guy, you know, like he's not the big merch seller. Although
he's a huge merch seller, Dave. Holy,
his merch sells well. But there's you know, it's not necessary. You're not sacrificing anything at all by turning him.
Not sacrificing anything at all. Like the Make-A-Wishes he just did right before the show that he's been doing for years. You're not sacrificing any of that. It is a sacrifice. It's good for business, but Dave's analysis of this is so up. It's almost like he doesn't understand the wrestling business. He needs to study and learn.
I don't know if this was always going to be the plan or it was something that, but I'm sure we'll know.
Oh, I don't know if this was always going to be the plan. We know you didn't know.
You know, as far as like, was it always going to be a Cena turn on Cody, or was it because Rock put himself in and, you know?
Oh, it's just the same as last year. Rock just put himself in and just went into business for himself. And yeah, it's all because of that, Dave. It's for sure not that you idiots get worked because you're losers.
The big thing originally was the idea of Cena going for the 17th World Championship, which is sort of babyface thing. But they did this, and I thought it was shocking in a good way. So, I mean, overall, you know, I thought it was an awesome show. I thought it was a great angle. I have no idea why Travis Scott was involved. I mean, I do.
I have no idea. I mean, I do. Well, then explain that. Why would you say you have no idea and then say you do know why? It's because everybody knows why, Dave. Like, it's very simple. Celebrity and wrestling. Why was Rick Ross there when Swerve stomped a cinder block on a guy or whatever? You didn't have anything. I have no idea why Rick Ross was there. You were just talking about how great Rick Ross was and how funny it was. Travis is there because he's the little sucker puncher, and Dave's going to be like, well, I mean, they just want to pretend they're cool. Meanwhile, Travis Scott's training pro wrestling to get in the ring.
Do you have an idea? I mean, the reason is because they want it on mainstream, you know, they want the clip mainstream, and they figured that more people will watch the clip of the
I don't even know who Travis Smith is. I've never heard of that guy. I've only heard of Tony Khan. Who is that guy, Bryan? Another one of those people.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Another rapper, Cuervo. Like
John Cena turn with Travis Scott in there, but it did seem kind of, you know, I don't know. He seemed a little bit out of place in a lot of ways. I mean, I get it, but, you know, so that was that. Cody bled, hit him with the watch. They didn't push the watch thing, did they? Because at first,
well, they didn't push it.
he's trying to really criticize it about they didn't push the watch. Dave, they pushed the watch all last. This is a 1-year thing of that watch being a thing. What are you talking about, man?
First, because Michael Cole didn't know what was going on, and he thought he'd hit him with brass knucks.
I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Cole didn't. I mean, I guess he probably did know what was going on. They probably had to tell him how to react and everything. But
they had to tell Michael Cole how to react. Look at this asshole. Has not evolved.
Stupid idiot.
Has not progressed with the times. He doesn't realize Michael Cole's doesn't have anyone yelling at him in the headset. They probably had to tell him what to do because Michael Cole doesn't know how to do his job. Like, he's not the greatest commentator alive right now in pro wrestling. God damn it. This guy's such a schmarmy prick, dude.
And yeah, he said brass knucks when it was the watch. And the idea is that this was the watch that Nick Khan.
The idea is that, no, it's not. That's what it is, Dave. It's not the idea. We all understood it. You don't because you're an idiot.
Gave Cody, or The Rock gave Cody, or whatever it was, the dusty watch that he pawned or whatever. So I guess that's...
Oh, he pawned or whatever. The dusty watch, it's meaningless, means nothing or whatever. What the man, this guy.
That year-long story that... Or year...
Well,
that year-long story. See, he tries to backtrack it. Oh, I mean, they didn't explain it. It was just me. I mean, the idea was it's supposed to be this thing. And then he just... The Freudian slip, right? Oh, I use this year-long story. I mean, not the year-long story. And then Bryan comes in. See how he just did that? See how he just his own right? We just got him again. Let's go.
That he pawned or whatever. So I guess that's that year-long story that, or year.
Well, it is, but it's
or year. Bryan.
The real long story of like you follow things very closely, and if you watch some post-show press conferences, but they've never played this up big on television. In fact, when
you have to watch closely to notice the watch and look at their socials and their Yes. You guys don't get it. AEW socials are completely dead. They're completely dead and whack. We've had experts come on this show and explain it, why it is and how it's up and what it could do to improve. WWE got 500 million views across all of their social medias for this thing, just like last WrestleMania for this thing and the thing, as Meltzer calls it, right? Just like last Mania with the watch, their socials got millions and millions and millions and millions of views of Cody finishing the story and being gifted the watch. Yes, it plays into social media. So if you follow them on social, then you watch the show. It's like, oh, it's a reason for me to... Do you understand? Like, they don't understand. This isn't like having to Google who Atlantis Jr. is before he comes in and they tell us he could beat Kenny Omega. It's not like people having to, it's a dream match, and people are like, who the fuck is El Hijo del Vikingo? And then they have to like Google him. It's not like that, Bryan. It's put in your face. Oh, if you watch some of the press conferences, you mean the millions of people who watch those things when it's all said and done? Holy man, these guys are just demented, trying their hardest to undermine even just the watch. And people say I play semantics with Dave. People say I play semantics when I go, Dave, you just stooged yourself about AEW not being a sport. Oh, just playing semantics. It's still got to... No, he's playing semantics about a watch that everyone understands, but they're trying to make believe nobody understand. And Bryan's sitting there and letting Meltzer sit there and bold-faced lie that no one was booing Cena when the heel turn happened.
And when Rock handed him whatever that object was, that Rock later claimed was the watch, Cody had been wearing the watch on the press conference and explaining it to the viewers before that angle even happened. So if the storyline was supposed to be that Rock was the one that gave him the watch, they never followed up on that on TV ever.
Right, and Bryan does have a point, but here's where they sort of did. They explained in that long promo that all these idiots melted down over as well, where The Rock was like, we've gotten to know each other. We look at our mamas hung out. We had tequila. We've exchanged gifts and all this sort of. So that sort of is like how Rock could have got the watch. Again, they didn't explicitly say it, but it's not, again, the watch is like a nugget for the people who are online deciphering the Bray Wyatt codes. And you old farts don't understand this because you're talking to each other on walkie-talkies to your audience. You sound like you phone into your own show when you're answering listener questions. Insane. Whew.
If you only watch a TV, you have no idea what The Rock handed the guy. They pretty much have not talked about it since. And Pat McAfee was the only guy that noticed because Michael Cole's calling it brass knucks, and Pat McAfee goes, it's a Rolex, Cole.
Yeah, it's a Rolex, but they didn't specify unless they did at the press conference.
But who cares? They're literally talking about one minute minute, one moment, where Cole's like, what, does he have brass knucks? Oh, that's his Rolex, Cole. Okay, that's the commentators asking the question. The viewer at home sees gold around Cena's hand, and they at home might go, oh, is that Nux? No, it's that watch. It's the Rolex his daddy gave him. And they just explained it right there, guys. That's called being a sports broadcaster. Like, oh, man. It's really depressing. This is really depressing that this is who has 110,000 subs and 1.2K likes. I got to beg for 150. No, I love you guys. You guys crush it every week.
It's afterwards.
Every week.
But they didn't, like when the thing went on.
Dislikes are probably astronomical on this video. I'm willing to bet anything.
The air, they never specified.
No, they never told whose it was.
Significance of the significance of the watch. I mean, the story is that, and this part is true, is that years and years ago, over 20 years ago, when Cody,
Dave's going to explain this story. We already know the answer to.
And his sister were going, they wanted to be actresses, and they were
Cody and his sister wanted to be actresses.
Finance that. Dusty, had made a lot of money in wrestling, but at this point, Dusty was pretty broke. And the kids, you do anything for your kids. So he pawned his Rolex watch to fund his kids taking acting lessons from Howard Fine in Hollywood.
He just butchered the story, man. It was like he pawned the watch and gave money so they had money in their pocket because they were going anyways. You know what I mean?
When they moved to Hollywood, they were there for a while, tried to become actors. They did not. And that's when that didn't work out, that's when Cody got into wrestling. And then the idea was that when Cody became the top star there, that Nick Khan somehow got the original pawned watch and gave it to Cody. That's the story. I mean, I don't know if it was.
And then he's going to discredit he's just such a gross bastard. Like if Dusty was here, he'd slap you, Dad. He'd bionic elbow your ass. You're just for men head.
Exact. A duplicate of the watch. There was the claim it was the actual watch.
I don't believe for a second it was the exact same watch.
Yeah, I mean it's wrestling, so who the hell knows? You know what I mean? So that's.
And then these two putzes just getting triggered. He's not even the greatest luchador. Oh, who knows if the watch was real? It's wrestling, so who knows? Meanwhile, you two idiots get triggered over. There's no way Penta's the best luchador. Tony Khan, Bandito, right? It's like, okay, then is it just wrestling and who knows because everything's a work, or are you going to get triggered over semantics? See, it's always Dave just flip-flopping around, doesn't keep the same energy, never consistent. That's why he gets clowned.
The significance of it, which was not explained.
Are you one of those?
So out of the whole Cena heel turn, he's mad at the watch. The thing Cena hit him with twice, not the belt that he hit him with twice, or anything else. He's just like bitching about this watch because they didn't. This is what I mean. People get mad at me. Why do you care with it? Because look at him getting hung up on semantics to try and bury something instead of just saying this was amazing, one of the greatest moments. Like we all knew what the Rolex was. It's just such a clown thing. That was his takeaway from that whole Cena heel turn. 25 years in the making. Was, oh yeah, they didn't say what the Rolex was. Dave and Bryan probably think WWE have to rewind the VHS tapes before they can play it again.
Stupid idiot.
Oh man, that is as gets Dave. Exactly, man. That's the thing.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
It's all just about Tony McCon, man, for him. And yeah, dude, he was at Collision instead of the PLE. Then he watched it after and then tried to boldface lie and say that they didn't boo for Cena. And then he gets hung up on the Rolex and saying like, oh, yeah, well, they botched that. Oh, look, there's no consistent stories. It's like, yeah, Dave, they dropped that little thing because they're cooking on so many levels. You're not going to make this out to be like Tony Khan not following up because you know that's all he's trying to do. Well, look, I mean, they just say things and don't really tell us what it is, Bryan. Nope. That's not it, Dave. It's not the same thing. And if they do choose to do that now and again, they're allowed to do that now and again because they're cooking so hard. When you do that all the time, you're not allowed to get away with doing it all the time. Right?
Bryan.
And that's what Dave doesn't understand. He's an idiot. Can we all agree we hate Dave? Hate's a strong word, but he is a clown, man. And for that, I will continue to clown him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. And perhaps one of the dumbest of all time.